Awesome, man. We went over for lunch today and got to catch up with him, say hi, and then he comes over and brings his tray and sits with the whole basketball staff. It was pretty cool. Just his energy, his perspective. Obviously, he's a legend around here, loved by so many. So, incredible hire by Jonathan. It's neat to see the staff that they're putting together. It's going to be impressive.
How much in those first months before you went to Nebraska and you were here, how well did you get to know him?
Not as much as I would have liked to, but still, it was fun getting to know he and D a little bit. They welcomed us with open arms. We'd see him sneak into a practice every now and again, and but then it was December and he was gone, and we got to wish him well. Stayed in touch with a few of his assistants when they were, in their time there. So, welcoming him back, and it's going to be again exciting to see how that thing works out as far as the staff, the rest of that they build. I know they're going to be supportive. They're talking about coming to our game already. He knew we were playing Arkansas Pine Bluff, so it's going to be great to have Riles back.
We have a pretty unique disparity as far as almost 60% shooting inside the three-point line, and obviously the spread was outside. What do you feel about the offense right now as far as the efficiency that you're able to
Well,
get?
what we really like is we're scoring the ball at a higher clip. We're really shooting a great percentage inside too. We're cutting the turnovers down. It seems like we always have a few late in the game. We've got to erase that. I think we only had maybe one in the second half until the last few minutes. We turned it over a few times, but all in all, pretty good. Other than we haven't shot it great from three, but we know we've got shooters. The right guys are taking the threes. We did shoot it a little bit better the last time out, so I think over the course of the season, I know that that's going to even out. We're going to get to the percentages, and we'll really feel good about where we're at.
Yeah, offensively, we're just talking to Trace. He said starting to really get settled in, a little more stable. Now that Drew is getting kind of back, his feet really back underneath him, kind of seeing the same thing, I would assume.
The balance, yeah. Now, when Drew gets it going, when he's that finishing guy at the rim, and when we get the ball moving, that's where our multiple scores really get to kind of show what they can do. When the ball sticks and we kind of stand and hold, that's where we struggle a little bit, and we'll continue to show guys the film and show how that works. But it's great seeing Stevie get it going a little bit from the three-point line, and I know Trace had been in a little bit of a funk, hit a couple in the second half, so hopefully we can carry that confidence and then continue to build the bench. There's some guys, they'll bring it one game off the bench, the next they'll be in a little bit of a funk. We've got to get that consistency, and I think we get some more games under our belt, we'll develop that rotation a little bit, but depth we think is going to be a strength of ours if we continue to get improvement and see some strides there.
Since the departure of Ja'Cory, who have you kind of liked the most at the point guard position? Who are you and the staff kind of been impressed with so far?
Well, I like both Steven and Ethan, I think, and Trace at times. I mean, if you look at where our assists have been the last two games, I think our two best assist to turnover ratio games have been the last two games. And off the top of my head, I think Stevie had 6, Trace 5, and Ethan 5. So they're all kind of, the way we're running our offense, they're all guys that can really initiate and get us into things, and it's neat to see that from all of them.
We talked the other night about different guys getting different opportunities. How have you seen the freshmen, in particular Zach and Alfred, kind of handle that situation?
Yeah, they've got to stay positive. There's been games where they'll play a little more extended minutes. The next game they might not play at all. And that's just the way things are right now as our team kind of shapes up. And, when you're a freshman, I was just happy to be in a uniform. I went to work every day, tried to earn more, and that's what we keep telling these guys. Don't be content, but they also know that there's areas that they need to improve upon. And the consistency, offensively, getting to know all of our plays, first of all, defensively, our schemes. But within that, you can't forget, and we remind them to bring the intensity and the focus. Sometimes, you want to please so much that you kind of become robotic, and we can't have that either. But really, really excited about their progress and what they bring to our team.
A lot of the guys have kind of said that they feel like their confidence is at an all-time high right now after a couple wins so far. Would you kind of agree that things have been rolling well from kind of a team chemistry perspective?
Yeah, I think it's starting to grow. We still have ways to go, but winning cures a lot. But it was an emotional week and a half, for us, and we didn't play our best basketball over 40 minutes, but we played much better when it counted late in the games, and we've done some things better than we did earlier on in the season, and that's what you hope for as you continue to build and get closer to conference play. And our guys are doing that. Big challenge now as we continue to mature and grow is to bring it every day in practice. And I think when that consistency shows, it'll show come game time too.
We saw. Oh, go ahead.
Back to Riley real quick. Did he say anything in particular that struck your team that maybe seemed to really resonate with them?
Well, you know what he talked. He asked how the team was this year, how it was shaping up. He was excited to watch, and I talked about the difficulties from a year ago and how we kind of trained ourselves to how to lose games. It's just what I don't want to keep harping back, but we all know the circumstances, and that we need to kind of shake loose of that this year. And he's like, be patient. It takes time, and you've got great staff in place. You guys are going to get there, and you're going to have my support. So it was more along those lines. But he's a guy I know that if I ever have a frustrating day or whatever, I can, walk over there and seek his sage advice. And the neat thing about him is he knows how to just pat you on the back, or say one or two things that kind of lift your spirits and put you in the right mood. So again, it's going to be really neat to have him around.
I hope to get Ben back going fairly soon.
Yeah, I just asked him if he was going to be able to get out here. So I think he's going to be able to practice today. Not probably 100%, but at least some of the half-court things again tomorrow. And then I think he's supposed to be available for some limited playing time on Saturday. But a lot of that's going to depend on the score. Obviously, we want to keep the rotation that's been going here, but I'm excited to be getting him back, and and it just adds some more depth to our interior and can only help us moving forward.
We've seen him in pregame warm-ups, but will this be his first time?
Yeah, he hasn't done any 5-on-5 stuff, so this will be the first day there.
We also saw that Ronnie got the Scholar Athlete of the Month. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about how far he's come since?
I tell you what, we announced it. He knew, he got the email, but we announced it in front of the team. They didn't know before one of our practices, and everybody just erupted. He was a guy that kind of struggled academically everywhere he's been, and had a little bit of a tough upbringing, going through some hard times right now with some health issues with family members back home. And for him, last spring got a 3-point. He wanted to get off campus, and you have to have a certain GPA to do that. And then to continue it into this season, he's had some frustrations with playing time and that sort of thing, but we've kept him focused and really proud of the effort that he makes. And it just tells you the level of buy-in, and that's really neat. We lack a little bit of senior leadership, and starting to get some from him and from Seth now that he's comfortable, and we're going to need that.